Good afternoon. This is Teresa back with you doing another live video origami lesson. Today we're going to be doing the elephant. This little guy here. It is a two-piece today, so you will need two pieces of paper. Another fun thing we're going to be able to do is put eyes on this, so you can use either a felt marker or pencil crowns, or you can use googly eyes if you have any. You can glue them on there afterwards. Whatever you have at hand. My googly eyes are in a different room, so I'm going to just use a marker today. And then we'll post that today. And then the next 2 days I'll be doing the Mexican rose, so this little guy here. I'll be doing that on Wednesday. And then the 8-pointed star, I'll be doing this one on Friday, just so you guys can keep track of what's coming up. And hopefully you will join me and watch the videos, and hopefully you guys will have a good time making these. Right, so I've got my two pieces of paper, again double-sided. I'm going to do the brown so that it actually shows up on this as the brown. This one's going to be brown with little green feet, because unfortunately I don't have gray, so you can do that. And if it's origami, you don't have to necessarily make it the same color, so it's even more fun. So what we're going to do is I'm going to set this one piece of paper aside for now, because we don't need it at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the elephant's head, and we're going to start off with the color you want showing down. So I want the brown down, so I'm going to fold it in half into a triangle. Again, always making sure your crease matches up in the corner there, nice and tight. And again, always making your creases nice and tight. So we're going to unfold that, and we're going to go the opposite direction, and we're going to fold again, just like that, into a triangle. And then we're going to unfold it. So the reason we do that is we should have a nice cross diagonal creases here. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually make sure that the diagonal is up and sideways, not like this. So when we fold, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the top and we're going to fold it into the center crease. Now it's a little hard to see on this paper, so I'm just going to do like this, find my crease, and then I'll push down here, and voila. So once you've done that, we're going to do, so I make sure my line was right. So this one, we're going to fold it up, but not all the way. So what I'm going to do is take this corner and about finger width, because I don't want it too big. So I'm going to measure about a finger width, and then making sure again that my line here lines up on the center line, and then I can fold it down, and you should have a top one and a bottom one. And once you've done that, sorry, what we're going to do is take this piece of paper here on this corner, and we're going to fold it over to this side. But what you're going to do is we're going to actually follow from this corner down here all the way to this corner down here. So I don't know if you can see that. Bring it up a bit. So we're going to fold from this corner down to this corner on an angle. So I'm going to do that for the first one, and then I'll show you. And it will not end up in the middle, and that's actually good. You don't want it to end up in the middle, but we've done everything else right. So as you can see, you've got the angle here, and if you look really closely, you can see my center line here. So I'm actually over the center line, and we want that. That's perfect. So we're going to take this side, and we're going to do the same thing. And take your time on this and make sure that your corners are nice and squared off. And then same with the bottom before you press down. And you just kind of wiggle it around until you get it in the place you want it. And then put your crease mark down and fold it like that. Alright. If you see shadow, it's because I keep trying to see if the camera's still running and my head blocks the light behind my head. So once you've got this, what we're going to do is we're going to take this upper flap, and again, this line here, this corner is where we're going. So these two corners, and we're going to make sure that we have it nice, tight, squared off. Like we don't want it over like this, where it's not folded in the corner. So you want it nice and tight in the corner. And what we're going to do is we're going to go from the corner, so it's a lot easier to do on the table, and we're going to just, so that this bottom, I'll undo this just so you can see, this bottom corner should match up with the center line. And then this corner, and once we have that lined up, then you can press it down. Just like so. So again, corner, nice tight corners, and then down into about the center line. If it goes over a little bit, it's not a problem, because when we do this, they're going to be on the back, so it's not a big deal. And the reason we do that is when we flip it over, we're going to end up with ears, just like on this little guy. So we're going to do the same thing on this side. So again, we're going to take this, we're going to fold it down, make sure this corner is nice and squared off, right? And then don't press it until you're really sure you want it in exactly that spot. And I'm just going to bring it down, and I'm going to line that up with the other ear, and then I can press it down. So they should be about equal, right? So that you have a nice line across here. And once you've got that, we're going to flip it over. So you've already got your little ears tucked on the side, and we're about halfway there. Look at that. Alright, so we're going to take this little trunk here, and we're actually going to fold it all the way up until you get to this little spot here. It shouldn't let you go any further without it rolling up like this, and we don't want that. So we're going to fold it all the way up and make sure that this center line matches the upper center line, so everything's aligned, just like that. So you'll see the center line here, right there, and then we're going to line up this center line, right, so everything's nice and square. And you see I don't roll it anywhere. You're going to have a little bit of overlap, and that's perfect. Okay? So once you've done that, we have to make the elephant's trunk. So it kind of looks like a little accordion. So when we're doing that, and you can do this as many times as you want. If you want to do it a couple times, this one I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little folds. I have this one here where I only did a couple, so it's not as many, right? So you can do it as many times as you want, and all it is you take it up, fold it down, and then fold it back up again. And you can do this as many times as you want. So I'm going to do it so that it's exactly squared. And by squared off, I mean they're all the same size. On this one, you can do it where the first fold is really wide, and then the second one's a little bit narrower, and then it gets skinnier. And that just gives you a different texture on your nose accordion. So I'm going to do it this way just because it'll show you a really good accordion fold. And I don't want to fold all the way down to the end of the nose, so I'm going to leave what I did with the tip originally. I'm going to leave that unfolded. And you can fold it up if you want, but I would recommend not doing it. So now you have a nice, even little accordion, just like that, right? You know what, I'm going to do just one little fold on that, to make the snout a little bit shorter. And again, it's entirely up to you. It's your elephant. So, there we go. This is all nice and narrow. You got your little elephant, you got your ears, you got your trunk, and we're going to put in some little eyes. So I'm just going to draw my little circle there. And if I had googly eyes, I would totally do this, but my googly eyes are somewhere in a container and I can't really find them. So perhaps I will dig them out one of these days, and then I can do googly eyes on my elephants. So then I'm going to set that aside, and we need to make a body. So we're going to take the second piece of paper, and if you want it to match the first piece of paper, great. If you want it to be different, like I did with this one, I used 2 different colors. Again, it's your elephant. You can have as much fun as you want. So with this one, we actually want the color to show on the inside. So the color that you want it to be, if you want it gray, make sure the gray is up instead of down like we just did with this one. So I'm going to do brown up. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold it in half into a square, well, into a rectangle. And again, I'm lining up my corners, making sure that my corners are all lined up, right? And then another nice tight crease. We're going to unfold it, and we're going to go the other direction. And again, this is just a preparation for when we do our folds. So that it gives us a line to see where we're going to fold to. And then we're going to fold it. So we should have a nice little plus sign here, a nice little squared off. And it should be like 4 different little things. Now, the fun thing about this is you can make really wide feet, or you can make them really narrow. So I'm going to do about 1 pinky, because I don't want really big feet, because my feet are going to be green, just because that's the color of the paper I have. So you can do 1 thick, or you can do a really big one. Doesn't matter. Don't go too big, because then it loses the actual body that you have. So again, I'm going to do about 1 thickness, and I'm going to fold it over. Again, making sure that it's nice and square. So as long as it's squared off, then I can press it down, just like that. So this is going to be my feet, right? So once you've got your feet, we're going to flip it over, making sure that your feet are still facing down. I did this one time and didn't make sure I had that, and my feet ended up being somewhere else. So always make sure your feet are down to the bottom. And we're going to take this side and we're going to fold it in half right into the center. So I'm going to fold that into the center line. And again, I'm lining it all up, making sure I'm on my center line before I make that crease, right? Just like that. So you have the one side, and we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Again, making sure my center is lined, and then I can center it down, squish. So there you go. Easiest body ever, right? So we're going to take this, and we're going to take this, and we're going to actually add them together. So it kind of gets a little weird. We're going to take this open flap here, and we're going to tuck this one into the center here, just like that. And it doesn't go all the way up, but that's okay, because it's just to sit. So once you've done that, you now have a little elephant. And then with this one, I actually glued it so that it didn't fall apart, just to make it a little easier. And if you want, you can actually kind of pull the legs apart a little bit, and then if you do that, it'll kind of round out a little bit, and then you can actually stand it up. My nose is heavy, apparently. There we go. Yeah, man. Okay. So then you can stand it up. So that is the elephant. Nice and easy. And if you want, you can make a shorter body like this. So I did it so that it sits in this flap on the original design. But I decided that I liked doing this. So I tightened it up a little bit. I folded this inside, and then I tucked it up farther. Well, that's what I didn't do. Look at me. I got so excited we were almost done that I forgot. So the last thing is making the top of the head nice and round. Well, not round, but easier. So I'm going to just set that aside because it's not attached. So on here we want to make little flaps down the sides. So we're going to take this on the back, and you can do this at any point during the design. I always forget because I do it at the end. So we're going to take this, and all we're going to do is fold just a little bit. And it literally depends on how much of a kind of an angle on your head. Don't go too much because their heads aren't super round. And it also kind of just tucks the ear and stops it from falling apart. So we're going to do that one like that, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. There we go. So that's the last. Thank you very much again for watching. So keep in touch. Keep in mind Wednesday I will be doing the same live time, so 4 o'clock, and then Friday will be 4 as well. And on Friday I will have the designs for the following week. I'm going to try and keep doing Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 4. And if you do want to check it out afterwards, I usually have it posted within about 24 hours onto my YouTube channel. So you can always go check out youtube.com and then just type in my name and it should come up. And right now I think there are 15 tutorials on my YouTube channel. So this one will get posted as well, and then there should be 15 or 16 to check out. Thank you very much for watching.